The world is watching a historic economic duel. In one corner, we have the United States, the reigning superpower. In the other, we have China, a rising giant. For decades, the US has held the top spot in the global economy. But China is catching up, and fast. The question on everyone's mind, will China overtake the US? The answer is complex. It's a story of numbers, of course, but it's also a story of innovation, of global influence, and of the unpredictable currents of history. This isn't just an academic debate. The outcome has real consequences. It will reshape global power dynamics. It will determine the flow of trade and investment, and it will impact the lives of billions around the world. To understand this economic face-off, we need to dig deeper. We need to look beyond the headlines and examine the forces shaping the future of these two economic titans. The story begins in the aftermath of World War II. The US emerged as a global powerhouse. Its economy boomed, fueled by innovation. It became the architect of the post-war economic order. Institutions like the World Bank and IMF were created. Meanwhile, China was finding its feet. The Communist Revolution in 1949 ushered in centralized planning. By the late 1970s, China embarked on reform and opening up. It embraced market forces and attracted foreign investment. China experienced unprecedented economic growth. This transformation set the stage for the current rivalry. China's rise has been meteoric. It is now the world's second largest economy. Let's talk numbers. The most commonly used measure of economic size is gross domestic product, or GDP. By this metric, the US still holds a significant lead, but China is closing the gap. In nominal terms, the US economy is still larger. However, when measured by purchasing power parity, which accounts for differences in living costs, China is already ahead. But GDP alone doesn't tell the whole story. Other indicators paint a more nuanced picture. For instance, the US still leads in per capita income, a measure of average wealth. This suggests that Americans, on average, are still significantly wealthier than their Chinese counterparts. However, China is rapidly catching up in areas like research and development spending, a key driver of future economic growth. This suggests that China is not content with simply being a low-cost manufacturing hub. It is investing heavily in innovation and aiming to become a global leader in high-tech industries like artificial intelligence and renewable energy. The competition between these two economic giants is no longer just about size, but also about technological prowess and innovation. Technology is the new battleground for economic supremacy. The US has long been a global leader in innovation, from the internet to smartphones. Silicon Valley is a testament to American ingenuity, but China is challenging that dominance. It is investing heavily in research and development. It is fostering its own tech giants like Alibaba and Huawei. This tech race has implications beyond economics. It's also about control over key technologies that will shape the future. Artificial intelligence, for example, has the potential to revolutionize industries from healthcare to transportation. The country that masters this technology will have a significant edge in the 21st century. The competition is fierce, and the stakes are high. However, it's not a zero-sum game. Both countries benefit from technological advancements. The flow of ideas and innovations is global, and ultimately, it's the consumers who benefit from the competition, as it drives down prices and leads to better products and services. The tech race is a reminder that economic power is increasingly tied to technological leadership. Trade is a key arena in the US-China economic rivalry. China has become a global trading powerhouse. This has led to trade tensions and accusations of unfair practices. The trade war has imposed tariffs, impacting businesses and consumers. Both countries use economic clout to exert global influence. China's Belt and Road Initiative expands its influence. The US promotes its interests through economic leverage. Economics and geopolitics are increasingly complex. Predicting the future of the global economy is a risky business. However, most experts agree that China's economy will continue to grow, albeit at a slower pace than in recent decades. This is due to a number of factors, including a slowing population growth, rising wages, and a shift away from an export-driven growth model. The US, meanwhile, faces its own set of challenges, including income inequality, political polarization, and a massive national debt. However, the US economy also benefits from a culture of innovation, a flexible labor market, and the world's leading universities. These factors suggest that the US will remain a formidable economic power for the foreseeable future. The future of the global economy is likely to be multipolar, with several major players, including the US, China, the European Union, and India. This suggests that the world is moving away from a unipolar system, dominated by the US, towards a more distributed balance of power. This shift has profound implications for global governance, trade, and international relations. The global power shift. The economic rivalry between the US and China is not just about numbers, it's about a fundamental shift in the global balance of power. For decades, the US has been the dominant force, but China's rise is challenging that dominance. This is leading to a more uncertain and multipolar world. This power shift is already playing out on the global stage. China is asserting itself more in international organizations. It is building its military capabilities and challenging US naval dominance. And it is using its economic clout to forge closer ties globally. This shift is creating both opportunities and challenges. A more multipolar world could lead to greater cooperation on global issues. But it could also lead to greater instability and conflict. The US and China rivalry will have profound implications for the future. Section 8. China's challenges, from demographics to debt. Despite its impressive economic rise, China faces a number of significant challenges. One of the most pressing is its aging population. China's one-child policy, in place for over 3 decades, has led to a shrinking workforce and a growing number of elderly citizens. This demographic imbalance could strain China's social safety net and slow economic growth. Another challenge is China's mounting debt. Years of rapid growth have been fueled in part by massive government spending on infrastructure and other projects. This has led to a surge in debt, both public and private. While China's debt levels are not yet unsustainable, they pose a risk to the country's long-term economic stability. China also faces challenges related to environmental degradation, income inequality, and political reform. Addressing these challenges will be crucial for China to maintain its economic momentum and achieve sustainable growth in the coming decades. Section 9. America's strengths. Innovation and resilience. Despite facing its own set of challenges, the US retains a number of significant strengths. One of the most important is its culture of innovation. The US has a long history of technological breakthroughs, from the airplane to the internet. This spirit of innovation is fueled by world-leading universities, a vibrant venture capital industry, and a culture that encourages risk-taking. Another key strength is the resilience of the US economy. The US has weathered numerous economic storms over the years, from the Great Depression to the 2008 financial crisis. Each time, the US economy has bounced back, demonstrating its adaptability and capacity for reinvention. The US also benefits from a stable political system, strong rule of law, and a favorable geographic location. These factors, combined with its economic and military might, will continue to make the US a leading global power for the foreseeable future. Section 10. The verdict: a race with no finish line. So, will China overtake the US economy? The answer is, it's complicated. There is no simple yes or no answer. The future is uncertain, and both countries face significant challenges and opportunities. The economic rivalry between the US and China is not a sprint, it's a marathon. What is certain is that the world is entering a new era. An era marked by a shift in the global balance of power, rapid technological change, and growing economic interdependence. In this new era, the US and China are both competitors and partners. They will need to find ways to manage their rivalry peacefully and cooperate on global challenges. The economic duel between the US and China is one of the defining stories of our time. It's a story with no clear winner, but one that will shape the future of the global economy and the world as we know it.